Have you ever seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street? Okay, we're going to talk about that today and how many soulful entrepreneurs are accidentally pretending like they are the Wolf of Wall Street, even though that's not what they want. And I'm calling this episode The Well-Rested Entrepreneur. I'm going to share with you the 4 phases of divine creation, and I'm going to make all of this make sense. What the Wolf of Wall Street has to do with the well-rested entrepreneur as we get going. So welcome to another episode of Live Your Yes Life. This is a weekly podcast where we share food for thought, helpful coaching tips, interviews that support entrepreneurs to go from just dreaming and wishing and hoping maybe one day I will live my best life, and instead actually be living it now, or what we call your yes life, as is appropriately named the title of this podcast. And P.S., if you didn't know, we have a Facebook group and a book available on Amazon with the same name as this podcast, Live Your Yes Life. I'm Kayla Jetta. I am one of the hosts. I host this podcast and all the things I do with my business partner and my mom, Lisa Limita. Okay, let's dive in. So back to Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, I love me some Leo DiCaprio in a movie. You know, I'm a Leo movie fan. I don't know about his personal life. I just don't keep up. But in a movie, great. So I've seen The Wolf of Wall Street. And as I've been talking with my clients this week, we've been in a lot of conversation around this judgment or shame that they can feel when they notice that they are taking time to rest, or they're taking a quote unquote, lot of time to recover. And feeling like that if they want to hit their goals, if they want to be successful, if they want to make money, if they want to, have all the things that they want, that they've really got to be like working, making it happen on the go. Because that's what society tells us. Because when we watch movies like The Wolf of Wall Street, that's what we see, right? We see these people who seem to be so successful and have all this money. And what are they doing? They are going. And so we think, well, that must be the way. I must need to really be hustling a lot and grinding it out and taking a lot of like big, hard, heavy hitting action again and again and again in order for me to get the kind of results that I want. One of the things that I've been saying, like in jest this week is, yeah, The Wolf of Wall Street is great. And do you notice how they literally need cocaine in order to be able to keep up at that pace? And we always have like a good chuckle. And it's true, right? That Hollywood shows us a version of reality that we cannot just be in go mode without thinking that our body's going to need some kind of substance or something to keep us going at that pace. And I guess that's for you to decide if that's what you want to choose for your body. I'll just tell you that that's not for me. That I have found, and though I have tried to do the go mode, what happened is I crashed and burned. And this is what we see happening with the Wall Street folk, is there's a lot of hiking and then crashing. They're like going, hiking the mountain, and then it's a totally complete crash. And there is another way. We actually don't have to do that. And I like to call the other way the well-rested entrepreneur. And this is totally what I'm into. Give me a choice any day, Wolf of Wall Street or the well-rested entrepreneur, and I know I will take door 2. Thank you very much. It is the well-rested entrepreneur for me. Because the well-rested entrepreneur experiences wholeness. They experience balance. And let's just talk about the B word, balance, for a second. Some people are like, oh, you got to have balance. Some people are like, balance is a myth. Here's my hot take on it, okay? Think of if I had a pie in my hand. Like I have a pie in a pie tin and I'm holding it up and I'm trying to balance the pie on my hand. The way that I would be able to balance the pie on my hand is when the dish is full. And when the pie is filling up the whole dish, I can balance the pie on my hand. If we take a piece out, now it's going to be harder to balance, right? And so it's less about how the pie is cut. Like we could have half the pie is one piece and then the other half is divided up into 3 more pieces, and that would still balance. So balance does not have to be equal is equal is equal is equal. Balance is actually when there's a wholeness, when all of the components, when all of the pieces are present, are at the party. That's when we can create balance. So as we go through today, I'm going to be sharing with you what I call the 4 phases of divine creation. I don't want you to think about that what you need to do is work these 4 phases in equality, like 25% of your energy for each. Some of you may find that that's how you do it, and that's cool, but you don't need to. You don't have to divide the pie in even fourths. You can cut the pie any way you want. Let's just make sure that all the slices are there. And if we use, keep running with this Wolf of Wall Street analogy, I would argue that the pie isn't cut at all. Or that like the pie was cut and then like a big chunk was taken out. Hence the way that we don't have balance, that there isn't equilibrium. So these are the 4 phases of divine creation, which is what I recommend people move through on you get to choose, we'll talk about this, a daily, a weekly, a monthly, a seasonally basis to become the well-rested entrepreneur. So here are the 4 phases. Let me give you a high-level overview and then we'll go back through and break them down. The 4 phases of divine creation are hike the mountain, flow down the river, wander through the woods, and rest on the beach. So one more time, the 4 phases of divine creation are hike the mountain, flow down the river, wander through the woods, and rest on the beach. And what's important is that we actually have all 4 of these phases throughout our life, in our business, that we're not focusing solely on 1 or 2 and ignoring the others. But how we dedicate our time and energy to them is up to you and is up to what really works best for you. And it will be different for all of us. Okay, so let's go back to hiking the mountain. What I mean when I say hike the mountain is this is the actions that we're taking that are effortful. These are the things that we may have resistance to, or maybe we don't have any resistance, but they do take our effort, our time, our energy, our resources. A lot of times, these are things like marketing, lead generation, revenue creation, if we're an entrepreneur. And if you aren't an entrepreneur, these are just the things in your life that take the most effort, often that you have the most resistance to, or just take the most amount of your energy. If we look at the Wolf of Wall Street example, they are almost 100% hiking the mountain. It's like 98% hike the mountain, 2% crash, just enough to get back up and do it again. It's just go, 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 go. And I'm not making hiking the mountain wrong. Again, it's an important part and we need it. I'm just saying that it can't be the only thing that we have. So that's hike the mountain. I want you to think about, for you in your business, what specific actions are you taking that you would consider hiking the mountain actions? Again, this is a lot of revenue generation activities. It is your marketing efforts. It's your lead generation. Those sort of things are probably what fall under hike the mountain. So identify what that is for you in your life or in your business. Then the next phase is called flow down the river. So this is where you're still clicking along at a pretty good pace because there's a momentum, there's a flow that you're riding. And so you're moving pretty fast, but you're going downstream. It's getting easier. It's getting lighter. There's not really any resistance here. You're just kind of like flowing with it. So as an entrepreneur, this is probably you actually delivering your product or your service. In hiking the mountain, it is generating the clients, bringing the clients into your space. And now in flowing down the river, you have your clients and you are delivering whatever you said you would help them achieve. You're working with them. And so there's a momentum there. It doesn't feel like it takes so much effort, but it does still take your presence, your time, your energy. The third phase is wandering through the woods. And this is when we are in creation, exploration. If you actually just imagine that you had, in fact, hiked up the mountain and then jumped in your raft and flowed down the river, and now you're just on a leisurely walk through the woods. So we're starting to slow down here because we're paying attention to our surroundings, what's here, the branches on the ground. We are being really observant. We're using all of our senses. It is when we are wandering through the woods that we are starting to be in a space like content creation or idea generation or receiving the information that's been coming to us and starting to mold and form it into something that we're going to then bring to life when we're back to hiking that one and flowing down the river. So identify what specific actions for you are taking place in your business when you're wandering through the woods. What are you creating? This is like pretty joyful creation. It's like you have space for it and time. You probably need a little bit more quiet. And the fourth phase is resting on the beach. And now we are truly resting. We are plunk on the beach. We have a cold drink next to us. We've got our SPF on. We have just a nice book in our hand, or we're just taking a nap. We're not doing anything here. We are resting. We're rejuvenating. We're restoring. And this is crucial because results actually arrive when we are resting. Okay, we do the efforting and the hiking that puts us in alignment, in a space where we can actually receive, but it is when we are resting that the receiving happens. And so if we are only hiking the mountain, and we are not taking ample time to rest on the beach, again, whatever that means for you, then we're missing our window of receiving. And this is why so many people, once they're in go mode and they're not taking their foot off the gas, they're feeling like I have to keep going because I don't have my results yet. Of course, because you haven't created this space for them to come in. You haven't rested yet. Resting is when and where the results come. So we must rest if we want to receive the results. Okay, so I mentioned that you can flow through these 4 phases in whatever cadence feels good to you. And that is my next invitation for you, is to identify how do you want to set up your life paying attention to each of these phases. Do you want to make sure that on a daily basis, you're touching each one of these phases? Or maybe it looks like more of a weekly basis. For example, perhaps Monday and Tuesday, you're like, my working hours are more focused on hiking the mountain, and you do client delivery Wednesday, Thursday, and you wander through the woods on Friday, and Saturday, Sunday are more dedicated to resting the beach. And you might, touch in with the flavor of the other ones, but there is like a theme for each day. Or maybe each week, maybe you are cycle syncing. And so there is a theme or a phase for each week, depending on where you are in your cycle or what works best for you. Or maybe monthly or seasonally. Perhaps you're in a seasonal business where there is a 2 or 3 month window where there's a lot of hiking the mountain. And then there's a 2 or 3 month window when you're flowing down the river. So you can choose the cadence or the rhythm that you use to flow through these 4 phases. What matters is that each of the 4 phases are present. And I would really encourage you to not have it be like 96% hiking the mountain and then 1% each of the other ones. Because that's Wolf of Wall Street style, and you need cocaine to keep up with that. And I don't want that for you, okay? I want you to have a different option. So your next step, your homework, is to map out what specific tangible actions do you take in your business in each of these 4 phases, and then what's the rhythm or the cadence that you're going to follow of when you're in each of these phases. And this, my friends, is what creates the well-rested entrepreneur. And it is my intention for you that you enjoy being a well-rested entrepreneur. I can speak from experience and say that it is joyful and prosperous, and there is room here for you on my beach. So come on down. Let's all be the well-rested entrepreneur together. I want to make sure that you know that we have some spots open right now for what we call our Yes Life Activation Call. So if you're listening to this video and you are feeling like you are ready and willing to be a yes for the life that you most want, for a slower pace, for ease, and for more results, or for whatever your big dream is, then I would love for you to book in a Yes Life Activation Call so that you can get with one of the amazing coaches on our team and we can have a conversation around what does your Yes Life really look like? What upgrades do we get to put in place for you to be living this life right now? So you can grab the link to book your complimentary one-on-one Yes Life Activation Call in the show notes near this video, and we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in, following along. We'll be back with another episode next week.